Hello, welcome back to our Psycholinguistics class. Today we're going to continue our discussions on contemporary methods in second language learning method. There are 6 contemporary methods and the 3 of them already been explained in the previous video. So the first we have discussed about communicative language teaching, which focuses on speaking. And next one is called computer assisted language learning, which focus on the use of computer. And the third is total physical response, which focuses on the use of physical body movement. And the next 3 will be about content-based instructions, natural approach, and task-based language teaching. The first is natural approach, or NA. It was popular by Terrell 1977 and also Krashen 1983. So there are some characteristics in natural approach which is actually not so far different with the previous method like direct method, natural method, and some other. So the first is there is the importance of listening and delayed speech production. So because it was popular by Krashen. So Krashen really understand that actually there are some stages in learning. The first, the listener or students, they will try to understand the pattern first. Then after they are ready to use the language, they will produce the language. So it means that they will start by listening, and after that, after they are ready, they will have speech productions. Because of this kind of approach, promotes what is called as creating natural environment, of course. So there is a focus on development of basic communication skill. So the teacher uses picture, objects, charts, and situations as source of language input. So the focus here is not about creating complicated cognitive understanding, but it's only practical think, which is very basic, like doing daily activity or fulfilling a task for daily needs, something like that. The next one, high affective filter like low motivations, low confidence, and high anxiety will block the learning. Just like we understood that when we are having high anxiety or like we are so nervous, of course it's gonna be harder for us to learn something. If we are scared of the teacher, of course it will influence our motivations in learning, and it will influence the way we accept the knowledge. And the next one, sometimes high anxiety triggers greater efforts, the different way mentioned by Scofield. When we have high anxiety, sometimes it also triggers us to be well prepared. We have to understand that we have to prepare everything to make us more successful in learning. So there are 2 ideas that are different here between Krashen and Scofield about affective filter. The next one, avoiding explications of grammar for limiting monitor hypothesis. What is called monitor hypothesis? It means that it is about the way we recognize the language we use has error or mistake or not. So just like when we say, I spoke English every day, so we can recognize that the use of spoke here is wrong, so we have to use speak because this is a habit. So it means that our monitor hypothesis work. So here in natural approach, Krashen promotes that we have to change the way we teach the grammar. We have to limit the teaching of grammar to avoid what is called as consciousness. Because when someone's learn consciously, when they learn consciously the grammar, of course, they will always become conscious to use the language, compared to just like when you are remembering your native language acquisitions. You learn, but you didn't realize you are not conscious to learn the language. Then when you use the language, you do not need to think about the rule of the language, but amazingly you can successfully use the language, your native language. And the last one, rule can be taught, but it should be limited. And also when you think that you need to teach the grammar, it should be conscious raising tasks. So it means that the point here, teaching the grammar is only a trigger. It's not the whole things that you need to teach the students, but it's only a trigger to create awareness of the similar pattern that the students can use or apply when they are going to express another idea or topics in this language. The second method in this video is about content-based instruction, or CBI. It was popularized by Mohan 1986, Richard and Rogers 2001. There are some features in CBI. The first, language as mean to get informations. Here, the language is not the final target, but the final target is about understanding informations or getting a scientific knowledge. For example, like us in a psycholinguistics class. So we do not focus on how to learn the language, but it's about how to understand the information in psycholinguistics. And the second one, as we have understood that we cannot avoid to learn speaking while we are learning writing. We cannot avoid to learn reading when we are also learning speaking. So it means that all language skills are actually intertwined. And the last one, someone use the language because they have purpose, and the purpose will trigger their effort or trigger their spirit and motivations to use the language. So CBI teaches the language and literacy together. It means that there are some advantages, like when you are using CBI inside the classroom, you will have two things at once. You learn the language as well as you understand the knowledge. While on the other hand, it also becomes burden. When someone's learn two things at once, of course, gonna be more effort that you have to devote compared to when you are learning only one thing. And it means that a CBI sometimes become something good, but sometimes for students who are really love effortless learning, of course, they do not like it. And the next one, no grammatical instructions appear. So it means that in a content-based class like psycholinguistics, the grammar is not the main focus, but you are asked to learn the grammar based on the language which is used in delivering the material. So you may learn the language grammar through inductions or not consciously or not directly learning the grammar. The next one, teacher must find relevant grammatical material with the topic. That's why the teacher try to simplify the grammar in delivering the ideas using a well-formed or well-structured language as example of creating good language and also creating input for student. Explicitness of pronunciation, the teacher will not make abbreviation or subtractions or omissions of pronunciations like mentioning there's for there is, and also creating regularizations or chronological order to make students understand everything easier compared to jotting down from one idea to another idea. And the last one, redundancy or highlighting important materials. The teacher will make a stress, repeat, and also creating a redundancy because because the teacher wants students to have a deeper understanding in a certain thing, not only about the material but also about the language use. So the syllabus of CBI is organized around specific topic which are matched to the learning goals. Like in psycholinguistics, the teaching of learning is based on the topic, just like mentioned inside the book. So it's not based on the skills that you are going to learn of language, but it's about the materials. Like we will start about the definitions, then the next we talk about second language method, we talk about other things later. The next one, student read text, make notes, listen to audio, and give written or oral responses. So it means that student here can be also the subject of learning. It's not only about being the object. So the students can be the resource of the material. Students have different experience in understanding psycholinguistics, for example. Students can also share their experience when they are finding a certain situations like inside the material. So students express ideas about understanding the topic and also the using the language correctly. The next method is task-based language teaching, or TBLT. It was popularized by Fish in 1998. There are assumptions which trigger Fish to develop this kind of method. The first, students learn better through meaningful activity. As being mentioned before in total physical response, that experience is the best teacher. Experience triggers someone's understand something deeper. And the next one, task is exactly what stimulates communications and regulates information input and output. So it means that task will trigger someone to use the language. Task is also challenging. That's why tasks also create informations and also output. So by for example, like your mother asks you, please take a pan in the kitchen. When you are in the process of taking a pan to the kitchen, you will see something. So it means that there is a process that you learn not only about pan, but you also see in other things. And also when you take the pan and you give the pan to your mother, of course, you will find that whether this pen is the correct one that the mother wants, or maybe the pen is not something that the mother wants. So you also learn that the input and also output by finishing the task that your mother given. The third one, tasks will improve motivations and promote learning because they typically use authentic material. So the teacher will always try to make the task feasible or can be finished. So it means that the teacher try to always use authentic material which is exactly existed in our life. So this gonna be very interesting because we will learn something from our environment. So it means that it will improve our motivations. And the next one, there is stressing on the importance of specially designed instructional tasks as a basis of learning. So the process of teaching and learning inside in TBLT class is mostly based on the design tasks. So the teacher always design tasks. So it means that students are asked to acquire the knowledge based on finishing the task. And the next one, task is about activity or goal that is carried out using language, such as finding solutions to a puzzle, reading a map, and giving directions, making a phone call, and any other. So the teacher tries to create authentic tasks, which trigger students to do something, and in the process of doing or finishing the task, the students will learn how to use it and also how is the result, whether the result is effective or successful or not. Okay, so this is the end of our discussions. The rest of the contemporary roots of second language learning methods in psycholinguistics. Keep learning and keep healthy. See you.